We will need to survive as well as possible. 7 words from the rider leading the 2026 Tour de France by 3.5 minutes. Tadej Pogačar, fresh off a decisive solo stage win wearing yellow, suddenly talking like a man under siege. Nobody saw this coming. What does the strongest rider in the race know that the rest of us don't? And could this shocking shift in strategy decide everything? Historically, the yellow jersey dictates terms, especially when worn by Tadej Pogačar. His early race performance in the 2026 Tour de France followed a predictable, devastating pattern: absolute aggression. Just 2 days earlier, on stage 10, Pogačar launched a crushing 20-kilometer solo raid on the Col de Pertus. He crossed the line 32 seconds ahead of Remco Evenepoel, leaving Jonas Vingegaard struggling in his wake and extending his overall lead to a massive 3.5 minutes. This wasn't just lead defending, it was the modern replication of Eddy Merckx, the cannibalistic legend who believed dominance meant applying relentless pressure until rivals completely shattered. With the yellow jersey firmly on his shoulders and the race seemingly under his total control, the cycling world naturally assumed stage 12 would bring more of the same. The script was already written. Pogačar would attack, because that is simply who he is. 400 meters from the line in Chalon-sur-Saône, that script dissolved. A high-speed domino effect pileup ripped through the peloton, triggered when Fernando Gaviria clipped a wheel and crashed. Over a dozen riders went down in a tangle of carbon and road rash, leaving Gaviria with a broken collarbone and the entire pack shaken. Because the chaos erupted inside the safety zone, the race jury awarded everyone the same finishing time, preserving Pogačar's 3.5-minute lead. But while the clock remained frozen, the collective mood of the Tour fractured. It was in this immediate atmosphere of wreckage and sirens that Pogačar stepped up to the microphone. The aggressive, confident leader who had spent weeks obliterating his rivals suddenly sounded vulnerable. The road had just offered a brutal reminder that in a Grand Tour, the yellow jersey protects you from nothing. Grand Tours are decided on a balance sheet of calories, where willpower remains secondary to pure physics. Every pedal stroke on flat valley roads depletes muscle glycogen, a finite fuel source that drains at over 5,000 calories a day. In modern cycling, the 30-minute window immediately after a stage is a race against biology, where riders must consume over 1 gram of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight to kickstart recovery. When the road tilts upward, power-to-weight ratio determines who breaks, and shifting winds or high temperatures instantly double the metabolic cost of an effort. This is why calculated restraint can be more dangerous to rivals than non-stop attacking. Chris Froome proved this during his dominant years, employing measured, defensive pace management to suffocate the race before the hardest mountains even began. By refusing to burn his glycogen reserves early, a leader chooses patience over vanity, forcing exhausted opponents to chase a steady wheel while saving the explosive power needed to destroy them on the steep gradients ahead. Behind Tadej Pogačar's defensive words lies the institutional machinery of UAE Team Emirates XRG. In modern cycling, a 3-minute lead is not defended by one man. It is managed by a highly calculated tactical system. Under sports manager Joaquin Maxin, the team treats the yellow jersey as a precious resource to be guarded, employing a formula of controlled domination rather than spectacular, wasteful exploits. The control room of this operation sits in the team car, where sports directors monitor live telemetry. During stage 13, Maxin's instructions over the race radio were precise. He ordered the climbing domestiques to lock the peloton into a steady pace, exactly 85% of Pogačar's functional threshold power on the lower slopes of the mountain. The leaders' climbing shields, including Mikel Garrido and Luca Vernier, rode directly into the wind, absorbing the aerodynamic drag and reducing Pogačar's metabolic cost by 15%. This is the modern GC playbook. If rivals like Jonas Vingegaard attempt to bridge a gap, the team does not panic. The directors calculate the exact wattage needed to close the distance. On-bike computers display 3 distinct power zones: steady pace, attack ready, and critical gap. When Vingegaard threatened to break clear, the radio commanded a precise short burst of 400 watts to neutralize the threat instantly, before dropping back into a defensive pacing envelope. Modern Grand Tour racing is no longer about raw romantic heroism. It is a battle of thermal strain, lactic thresholds, and real-time data. By dictating a high, steady tempo from the front, UAE Team Emirates XRG suffocates the race, preventing rivals from launching coordinated attacks. Pogacar's survival mindset is not a sudden loss of confidence. It is a highly engineered, data-driven team strategy designed to let others burn their matches while the yellow jersey waits for the perfect moment to strike. The yellow jersey is more than a sporting prize. It is a prime-time marketing engine. For sponsors like Emirates, every minute Tadej Pogačar spends wrapped in yellow translates to millions of eyes on their brand. In modern cycling, team budgets rely entirely on this global corporate visibility. This shifts the calculation from pure athletic glory to asset protection. A single crash or a reckless attack does not just risk seconds on the road, it threatens the massive investments keeping the team operational. When Pogačar rides defensively, he is not just saving his legs, he is securing the business. Every second of television exposure directly fuels these team budgets, where a single title logo on a chest holds millions in media value. While the €500,000 prize for winning the yellow jersey is a real incentive, it remains secondary to the constant advertising generated by brand placement on specialized frames, Giro helmets, and team kits. This commercial gravity extends far beyond the leader. Tim Merlier's third-stage victory and the tightening green jersey battle prove that every classification offers valuable broadcast real estate, directly multiplying a rider's long-term market value. A defensive yellow jersey reshapes the entire tactical chessboard before the road even tilts upward. For Jonas Vingegaard, a conservative Pogačar is an invitation. Vingegaard's strength lies in sustained, long-range pressure, designed to expose any crack in a rival's armor. Meanwhile, Remco Evenepoel represents a different kind of threat, one built on forcing action and exploiting hesitation. If the leader refuses to dictate the terms, the wider field gains oxygen. Challengers can use high-tempo attacks to force UAE Team Emirates to chase, testing whether this survival strategy is a masterclass in restraint or a genuine sign of weakness. Stage 13 forces a direct verdict on this defensive posture, mapping an exhausting 205.8-kilometer route from Dole to Belfort. This is the longest day of the 2026 race, a punishing distance for a peloton already carrying heavy physical strain. The road culminates at the legendary Ballon d'Alsace, an 8.7-kilometer climb averaging nearly 7%. On these exposed slopes, swirling 24-kilometer-an-hour winds and warm temperatures become active tactical variables. This terrain forces a sharp choice. Will Pogacar merely shield his lead on the ascent, or will he at last answer his challengers on the road to Belfort? The road to Belfort is only the gateway. The true test of Pogačar's survival theory lies in the brutal back-to-back mountain block of stages 14 and 15. This is where cumulative fatigue systematically dismantles the general classification. First comes stage 14's 12-kilometer ascent of Le Marquestein, peaking at a grueling 9% gradient. Then, with depleted glycogen reserves, the peloton must immediately face stage 15's 14-kilometer climb to the Plateau de Soleilson, topping out at over 1,700 meters. On consecutive high-altitude days, saved energy is the only currency that matters. Here, Pogačar's extreme patience will either be vindicated as a tactical masterclass or punished brutally. The road now rises toward the Ballon d'Alsace. Pogačar's defensive pivot faces its ultimate test. Is this the calculated restraint of a champion, or the first crack in the yellow jersey? We are about to find out.